Hello out there to you. I've got this problem. I've got a demand function, supply function. I need equilibrium price and quantity, consumer, producer surplus, and deadweight loss at equilibrium. Then I'm going to put a price floor on it and see what happens to consumer, producer surplus, and deadweight loss. Now you can solve this algebraically. Lots of examples on that. I'm going to put it into Geoalgebra. Okay, so in Geoalgebra, we want to use x for quantity. Okay, and so that's 16 minus 2y. I'm going to use y instead of p because y is on the y-axis, and then I'm going to go x equals 2y. Okay, so that was really easy. I got the equilibrium, price, and quantity, and I'll zoom in just a little bit. Okay, I'm right there. I'll capture this graph. Okay, so let's say right about there. Put it back into Paint where I can see it. Okay, right about there. Okay, so equilibrium price going to be 4. Just read this thing. P equals 4. Quantity equals 8. Okay, the consumer surplus, so again, you can do this algebraically, but I'm doing it graphically. So it's just the area, the consumer surplus, the area underneath the demand curve, but above the price. So this is going to be the original consumer surplus. Okay, so that big triangle, and then the producer surplus going to be this big triangle right here. It's the area above the supply curve, but below the price. Okay, so both of those are actually identical. So I need to do it once. So 0.5, we'll do it in black. 0.5 times, we got a quantity of 8 times a price difference of 4. And that's 8 times 4, which is 32, and then half of that is 16, equals consumer surplus. It's actually the same answer. Oops. 8 times 4 for producer surplus. And because this market is at equilibrium, I don't have a deadweight loss. So my deadweight loss is going to be 0. Deadweight loss is 0. Okay, so we're going to throw a price floor on this. So again, you can do this algebraically by plugging in the price of 5 and getting the quantity out there. Or I'm just going to draw a line on this graph right here. Okay, so right here, that's our price floor. So now we are going to have a deadweight loss. Okay, it's the loss in efficiency away from equilibrium. So it's going to be this right here. This is deadweight loss. Okay, and then the consumer surplus is going to be this triangle right here. Now the price is higher, it's going to be more expensive. And then the producer surplus is this triangle. Then what you want to do is you want to add that to this rectangle, because the producers end up with a higher surplus because they're going to get to sell part of that there. So quantity supplied is going to be 6. Okay. So quantity supplied is 6. And that's actually the quantity demanded is 6. So follow this to where it hits the demand curve, but then the quantity supplied is actually 10. So misspoke there. It's 10. Okay, is there a price floor? Determine the consumer surplus, producer surplus. Okay, so consumer surplus is just the area of this. Okay, so just do that in the calculator. So that's 3 times 6, so 1/2. 3 times 6, so that's 18. So consumer surplus is 9. Okay. The producer surplus is also, so it's also 9 because that's that triangle right there. And then plus 2 times 6, which is 12. So producer surplus is 21. The deadweight loss is this last part here. So it's looks like 2 times 2, so it's 1/2. 2 times 2, that's just 4, and that's just 2. Okay, so that's how to solve one of those using GeoAlgebra. Again, you can use algebra, but that's a different way to do that.